You don't notice it at first. It doesn't arrive with a sound or a sudden change. It's quieter than that, softer. Your cat is there like always, curled into their favorite corner, blinking slowly, existing in that calm, distant way that makes you believe everything is fine. You feed them, you clean up after them, you give them a few scratches when they pass by. From the outside it looks like love. Feels like enough. But somewhere in the silence between those moments, your cat has been asking for something more. Not loudly. Not in a way you could easily understand. But in the small, invisible ways they live beside you every day, they've been reaching out, hoping you'll notice. Because love to a cat doesn't look the way you think it does. It doesn't always purr. It doesn't always cuddle. And most of the time, it doesn't even look like love at all. It starts with something so simple, so ordinary that most people overlook it completely. Your routine. Every morning, whether you realize it or not, your cat is watching you. Not just with their eyes, but with something deeper. They're learning the rhythm of your footsteps, the sound of your voice at different times of day, the exact moment you reach for their food bowl. They notice the way the light hits the room when you wake up, the quiet shift in energy when you're about to leave, the familiar click of the door when you come back home. To you it's just another day. To them, it's everything. Because your cat doesn't live in a world of surprises. They don't crave randomness or constant change. What they crave is something far more powerful, something that doesn't show up in photos or videos or moments you can easily share. They crave certainty. The same food at the same time. Water that's always where they expect it to be. A space that doesn't suddenly change without warning. And most importantly, you showing up when you always do. Might feel boring. Might feel like nothing special. But to your cat, that consistency is what holds their entire world together. Without it, something begins to shift. Slowly. Quietly. Their body stays the same, their habits might not change much at first, but inside, there's tension. A kind of unease that builds in the background, invisible to you. They start to question what comes next. They hesitate in ways you don't notice. They stay alert when they should feel calm. And over time, that uncertainty creates distance. Not physical distance, emotional distance. Because a cat that doesn't feel safe, never fully lets go. But when your routine becomes something they can trust, something steady and predictable, something beautiful begins to happen. They soften. Their movements become slower around you. Their eyes linger a little longer. They choose to stay in the same room not because they have to, but because they want to. And little by little, without you even realizing it, they start to lower the invisible guard they've carried their entire lives. That's when the bond begins. Not through grand gestures. Not through toys or treats or anything flashy. But through the quiet promise that tomorrow will feel just like today, and that you'll be there when it does. And just when you think that being present is enough, your cat gives you a test. It doesn't look like a test. In fact, most people misunderstand it completely. It happens in a small, almost forgettable moment. You reach out your hand, maybe hoping for a cuddle, maybe just wanting to feel close for a second longer. And your cat walks away. No sound. No explanation. Just a soft, deliberate choice to leave. And in that moment, something inside you reacts. Maybe it stings a little. Maybe you feel rejected, confused, or even slightly annoyed. After everything you do for them, why would they just walk away? So you follow. You pick them up. You pull them back. Just one more second, you think. Just one more moment of connection. But what you don't see is what your cat is learning. Because when they walked away, they weren't rejecting you. They were asking you a question. A quiet, deeply important question that defines everything about how they experience love. Do you trust me enough to let me go? And how you answer that question changes everything. If you've ever watched your cat walk away and felt that small, quiet sting, you're not alone. It's such a human reaction to want to hold on a little longer, to pull them back into the moment, to turn distance into closeness. But for your cat, love doesn't grow from being held onto. It grows from being allowed to leave and choosing to come back. Because the moment you don't follow them, the moment you let them go without a word, without a reaction, something shifts. They notice. Not immediately. Not in a way that's obvious. But somewhere deep in their instincts, they begin to understand that being near you doesn't mean losing themselves. That your presence doesn't come with pressure. That your love doesn't trap them. And that realization is rare. It's something they don't give easily. Not to anyone. But when they feel it, truly feel it, they begin to return in ways you never expected. They sit closer. They linger longer. They follow you from room to room, not because they have to, but because they've decided on their own that being near you feels safe. That's the kind of closeness you can't force. It has to be given. And just when that trust begins to form, there's another layer, something even quieter, something most people don't think twice about. Your voice. It's easy to overlook because it feels so natural. You might not even realize you're doing it. A soft, hey when you walk into the room. A gentle greeting when you see them stretched out in a patch of sunlight. Maybe you say their name without thinking or talk to them like they understand every word. And maybe, sometimes, you wonder if it even matters. But it does. More than you think. Because your cat is always listening. Not just to the words but to the feeling behind them. The tone. The softness. The warmth that wraps around your voice when it's meant just for them. There's a difference in the way you speak to your cat when you're being gentle, and they can feel it instantly. It's in the way their ears shift toward you just slightly. The way their eyes soften, blinking slower, heavier. The way their body relaxes as if something inside them just let go. You might not see it as communication. But to them, it's everything. Because your voice becomes something familiar. Something safe. A signal that nothing is wrong, that everything around them is calm, that they don't need to be alert or cautious or ready to move at a second's notice. It becomes comfort. And the more you use that soft, warm tone, the more it builds. Like an invisible thread connecting you, moment by moment, day by day. You're not just talking to them, you're creating a space where they can exist without fear. A space where they can simply be. And then, there's the moment where everything changes again. Because love for your cat isn't just about feeling safe. It's about feeling understood. And there's one part of them that most people never truly reach. The hunter inside them. You see it sometimes in flashes. The way their body lowers suddenly, eyes locked onto something you can't even see. The slow, deliberate steps. The stillness before the burst of energy. It's instinct. Ancient, precise, and deeply wired into who they are. But for most indoor cats, that part of them never gets to fully exist. A toy gets tossed across the room. Maybe they chase it once, maybe they don't. You're distracted, scrolling, half present. It looks like play, but it's missing something important. Something your cat can feel even if you can't. Because real play, the kind they crave, isn't random. It's a story. It starts with the stalk. The quiet focus, the slow movement, the tension building in their body. Then the chase, fast, unpredictable, alive. And finally the catch. The moment where everything releases, where instinct completes itself in a way that feels deeply, instinctively right. Without that full sequence, something stays unfinished. And over time, that unfinished feeling turns into restlessness. Into energy that has nowhere to go. Into behaviors you might not understand. Sudden aggression, strange bursts of activity, or a kind of quiet withdrawal that's hard to explain. But when you take the time to truly play with them, when you move the toy like it matters, like it's real, like it's something worth chasing, everything changes. They come alive in a different way. Their eyes sharpen. Their body moves with purpose. And when they finally catch it, when that moment completes, there's a kind of peace that settles over them, deep and undeniable. And in that moment something else happens too. They look at you differently. Not just as someone who feeds them or shares their space, but as someone who understands them. Someone who sees the part of them that the world no longer asks for, and brings it back to life. And that kind of understanding is a form of love they never forget. There's a moment, sometimes so small you almost miss it, when your cat climbs higher than everything else in the room. Maybe it's the top of a shelf, the back of a chair, the edge of a cabinet you didn't even think they could reach. They sit there quietly looking down, their body still, their eyes slow and steady. From where you stand it might seem random. Maybe even a little annoying. You might wonder why they always choose the highest, most inconvenient places. Why they can't just stay closer, somewhere easier, somewhere within reach. But from where your cat sits, the world finally makes sense. Because up there, nothing surprises them. Nothing approaches without being seen. Every movement, every sound, every shift in the room is clear before it even reaches them. It's not about distance. It's not about avoiding you. It's about feeling safe enough to relax. And for a creature that has spent its entire life wired to stay alert, to stay aware, to always be ready, that feeling is rare. More rare than you think. You could give your cat an entire home, every corner open, every door unlocked. But if they don't have a place where they can rise above it all, a place where they feel untouchable, in control, at peace, then something will always feel slightly off inside them. A tension you can't see. A quiet alertness that never fully fades. But when they find that space, or when you create it for them without even realizing what you've given, everything softens again. They sit a little longer. Their breathing slows. Their eyes close halfway, not out of sleep, but out of trust. And in those moments, they're not just existing in your home. They're finally resting in it. And then, one day, something happens. It's not dramatic. There's no big moment leading up to it. In fact, it might catch you completely off guard. Your cat climbs down from wherever they were, walks over slowly, circles once, maybe twice, and then settles onto you. Your lap, your chest, your side. At first it feels simple, warm, familiar. You might reach for your phone, adjust your position, shift slightly to get comfortable. But then you notice something. They're not just lying there. They're letting go. Their body grows heavier, softer, as if every muscle has decided it no longer needs to stay ready. Their breathing deepens. Their eyes close fully now. Not halfway, not watching, not alert. Gone. Not in distance, but in trust. Because sleep, for them, is the most vulnerable place they can ever be. It's the one moment where they give up control completely. No awareness. No escape. No defense. And yet, they choose to do it on you. Not near you. Not beside you. On you. And in that quiet, unmoving moment, without a single word, they tell you everything. That you are safe. That you are trusted. That out of everything in their world, you are the one place where nothing bad will happen. And suddenly all those small things, the ones that never felt important, begin to come together. Every time you fed them at the same hour, even when you were tired. Every moment you let them walk away without chasing after them. Every soft word you spoke when no one else was around. Every second you spent playing with them like it truly mattered. Every space you allowed them to claim as their own. None of it was wasted. None of it was small. It was building something. Something invisible. Something quiet. Something that didn't show itself until this exact moment. Because this is where it all leads. Not to constant attention. Not to forced affection. Not to the kind of love that demands to be seen. But to a kind of trust so deep, so complete, that your cat can fall asleep on you without a single doubt in their mind. And maybe, that's what makes it so powerful. Because you didn't ask for it. You didn't force it. You didn't even fully understand it while it was happening. But they did. They felt every moment of it. And in the end, they gave you something most people spend their entire lives trying to earn from a cat. Their complete, unguarded trust. So the next time your cat walks away, or sits quietly above you, or simply exists beside you without asking for anything at all, remember this. They're not distant. They're not indifferent. They're loving you, in the only way they know how. And if you learn to see it, you might realize they've been loving you deeply, all along.